Shem Hashem Nasem Nasleach. We continue with Limud Kolel Chasot. This morning is Yud Aleph Nisan Tav Shin Pe Daled. Haba Ananu Letova. Okay, this Limud is also dedicated for the Refuah Shelema of all the Cholim, Haslacha of all the Yehudim. Bezat Hashem should be a Ilui Nishmat of all the Niftarei Israel, and Bezat Hashem Haslacha of all Chayalei Israel, and Bezat Hashem that all the hostages should come back home safe. Okay, now we want to continue learning from the Sefer of Harav Netaneli regarding to how a person should keep himself holy, avoiding Shechva Zera Devatala, and what is the process of seeking forgiveness for this Avera. So as we know that there are three reasons that a person needs to make teshuvah, right? That he needs to make sure he regrets to come back to the previous level of Ruchani, and teshuvah helps a lot to remove the influence of a chet on a person and on his neshama. And even if it doesn't remove it, it would make it less, the effect should be less, and that the person will be helped not to come to the same situation. So it will remove the zuhama, the impurity that came to his neshama, and also will help him to get closer to Hashem, because each time a person does avera, a chet also can be understood. It's a disconnection, right? So Rav Netaneli is teaching us that when a person makes teshuvah, right, especially from this chet of Shechva Zera Devatala, helps him to renew himself. A person finds himself very down when Shechva Zera Devatala happens. So by making teshuvah, Chatati Aviti Pashati helps a lot. So one of the ways of making teshuvah is fasting, ta'anit. So Harav Netaneli explains that really each time that this Shechva Zera Devatala happens, a person needs to fast 84 days of Taniyot, right? And they need to be consecutive, except Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, Moedim, Purim, Chanukah, 15th of Shabbat, right? 15th of Av, these are the days of happiness, 18th of Iyar, and 30th Lag BaOmer, right? And also Isru Chag. So a person who has this avera needs to fast 84 taniyot, consecutive taniyot. But these days nobody has this ability. We have been weakened. Our neshama, our guf is not the same before. So therefore, we fast one day instead of 84 taniyot. And instead of 84 taniyot, we need to give the equivalent of the food for those taniyot to tzedakah. For example, if a person spends $2 per seudah, he needs to give away $168 to tzedakah. How is that calculated? 84 times 2. Right? That is 168. And this tzedakah, we have to understand, we're going to explain further, that before he gives this tzedakah, he needs to say certain tefillah. Now, this is for a person who has the ability to pay such a tzedakah. Right? If a person doesn't have this ability, then he can pay less. However, if somebody who has more than this, so needs to give even more, because this is an equivalent of 84, right, days of ta'aniyot. So 84 is not only 84 seudot, is each day how much money you eat, you spend for your meals for one day. In order to make this ta'anit, a person needs to fast, needs to accept the ta'anit, the mincha before. The mincha before, the day before, right? And in the end of the Shemoneh Esrei Achash quiet prayer, there is a nusach of the tefillah, he needs to accept it. Right? And this is also brought in Sefer Lashon Chachamim by Harav Ovadia Yosef, by Harav Ben Ishchai Alav Hashem. Right? That over there we express, right, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, tomorrow morning from Alot HaShachar till Seit HaKochavim, I am going to fast because of this Shechva Zera Levatala, and this should be as a kapara. And if I cannot fast for any reason, please allow me to open my ta'anit by saying the Mizmon LeDavid, right, that I should nullify my ta'anit. That's in the Nosach of Lashon Chachamim. And that also we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that may it be His will that we would have the strength and that we should be bari to fast the tomorrow, that we should be zoche to make a teshuvah shonama, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should accept this tefillah, right? So that is the leshem ichud that one is supposed to say. Now, if the night before the Tanit starts, the Tanit would start by Alot HaShachar. If he wakes up and he wants to have tea or coffee, he needs to accept that before going to sleep. In other words, he needs to make a tenai. He needs to make a condition that by going to sleep, he is not accepting the ta'anit, the fast. So this way, when he wakes up, he can have a drink. But if he didn't, then automatically the ta'anit is started, because people, by going to sleep, they tend to accept the ta'anit. So before the ta'anit, he takes that money that he put aside, right? And he says the following tefillah, right? The master of the world, may it be your will that this money should be, instead of the 84 ta'aniyot, 84 days of ta'aniyot, that now that I cannot fast that much, it should be instead for tzedakah. And may it be your will that this money should be equivalent to 84 ta'aniyot for Shechva Zera Levatala. Now, where should this money go to? This money should go to community services, right? For example, giving it to yeshivot, to Batei Midrashot, where they learn Torah, or helping Khatan Mekada to get married. Obviously, we're talking about a Jewish marriage, right? And where is with Kedusha Tahara, right? Or this money should go for strengthening Taharat HaMishpacha, family purity, right? Now, in the day of such a ta'anit, one who is fasting himself, he is allowed to say Anenu. Ta'anit Yachid, but he can say Anenu in Shema Golenu. Right? And if he forgot it there by Shema Kolenu, if he hasn't finished his tefillah, he hasn't stepped back the 3 steps, he is allowed to say it there as well. And after the Arvit, in other words, after the Arvit of the day that he fasted, there is another tefillah that he needs to say, right? That he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it is clear that when the Beit HaMikdash was built, when a person would do a sin, when there was a chet, a person would bring a korban to Beit HaMikdash, sacrifice. And that sacrifice, right, would be as if he was being sacrificed himself. And that all the fat and the blood that was there burned is compared to a blood and the fat of a person who is fasting, that is becoming blessed because he didn't eat, right? And may it be the will of Hashem that all this blood and the calories, we call it, that now is blessed, right, should be as if he was offered as a korban. Now, 2 important lessons out of Netaneli Sharita explains that about this Ta'anit and Sadaqah. That one who does this fast and gives this Sadaqah needs to understand, right, that he is going to be among the Saddiqim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept him among the Saddiqim. So it is important that he always remembers that he made a mistake and that he regrets that mistake. As we say in Tehillim, right? That is the Mizmor 51, the 5th pasuk. David HaMelech Alav Shalom says that my chataim are always in front of my eyes. In other words, I remember my chataim. Right? That remembering this would help a person not to do it again. Obviously, we don't want to have a yush. We don't want to become hopelessness. We have the hope to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we need to have a broken heart, right? Even after the Ta'anit. But we want to stay away from depression, Chas v'Shalom. And we want to be happy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with His utmost mercy and rachamim, He has given us another opportunity to make teshuvah. Right? So when we reach out to Hashem, we need to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has His rachamim and mercy for us to come back to Him again. Now, Harav Netaneli Sharita goes on to explain. Second point. Every year during the weeks of Shovavim, one is to try to do a tikkun Brit, right, for the chataim that he did unintentionally, obviously. And obviously, if he did unintentionally, how much more so? Right? And not only this will help our life here, will also help the Gilgulim Acharim, the previous Gilgulim. Right? Perhaps in the previous Gilgulim there were 10 times or maybe more, or maybe 100 times of these Averot. Maybe there was no Ta'anit back then. Maybe there was no Sadaqah back then. Right? And one needs to say that I'm not doing this as a neder. Right? That we do this because if a person does something 3 consecutive times, would become a neder. So we have to also understand each time that there is a avera done, there is a pegam, there is a unfortunate damage to one's neshama. that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us, this pegam from the neshamat will be removed. And this so-called stain from the neshama, right, is clean. So this helps a person to go through the process of purification for Shechva Zera Levatala. Praiseworthy is the person who takes time, who puts time to remove this pegam that has come to his neshama. And we have to understand, each time there is a pegam, it's like a stain on that comes onto our clean shirt. And no matter how much you clean it, you wash it, you give it to the dry cleaner, still wouldn't be the same. So this would be a reminder for a person not to engage in averot and stay away from sins as much as possible. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us to make teshuvah shlema in every area, and especially in Shechva Zera Levatala, and Omar Amen.
Amen.
If you could press on the button.